time to party with Miss Polly. The modern day doctor.
Miss Polly, what do you got for us today?
So today, we all have heard, and we've talked about on the show before, we've talked about blue balls, right?
Funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Funny I mentioned that, right? Mm-hmm.
Spyder's wearing blue today, actually.
Not because of my balls. But
I was
I
going to
heard
ask that, but I thought, well, that might be a little weird.
No, I heard that was an issue with a lot of people when everyone got frozen indoors.
What?
They didn't.
Blue balls?
Yeah.
Frozen? That's good. Actually, but did you know that women, can you imagine having countless orgasms without even trying?
What, like just sitting here?
Uh-huh. Like being constantly aroused, and even to the point where you can have an orgasm, but it's not pleasurable. Like you're in a constant state of arousal. Like it never goes down.
Is that an illness?
It is. It's a sexual disorder called persistent genital arousal.
Oh my goodness. In men and women?
Just women. Just women. And you would think it's basically feelings of where there's spontaneous, persistent, and uncontrollable arousal that is unrelated to feelings of sexual desire. So you're not feeling sexual desire, but your genitals are.
So does this happen like at a certain age? Are you born with that? Does it?
There are different causes. Some from like a pelvic nerve entrapment, where the pelvic nerve that's inside is like pinched, and that can cause that to happen. Or sometimes it's a post-SRI withdrawal syndrome, which, like, if you go off of antidepressants.
Oh.
Because remember, I know we've talked about it at some point about how certain antidepressants can decrease your sexual desire and you can't achieve orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like the opposite. So you've come off of it, you're having withdrawal, and it's like a withdrawal system where you're constantly aroused.
Oh my goodness. And does this, like, I could imagine that that's miserable.
It's miserable. It can be practically paralyzing because you're in public.
Yeah.
You're at work and you're like, walking. I mean, I hate to make a joke of it, but at the same time, can you imagine just like constantly,
I've never even heard of this.
Is there a cure for that?
Do what?
Is there a cure for it?
No, it's extremely hard to treat because there's no cure. I guess you can, if it's a pelvic nerve entrapment, you can try, but that would be like a surgical procedure. And I can imagine that maybe, crossing fingers, with the antidepressant, that it would slowly fade with time. But in my head, I feel so bad for those women because I can't imagine. I mean, jokingly, some people would say, "Oh, that'd be great." But
right.
No, not so much.
I've actually never even heard of that. And I wonder if anybody would be comfortable enough who listens to our show to actually message us or let us know if they've ever dealt with that. Yeah.
I saw someone. Yeah. It had to have been 10 years ago, easily, on like Dr. Phil or, one of those kind of shows that a lady that was having that problem. And I think she ended up committing suicide.
No. Stop it.
What?
Well, I mean, I guess it becomes like debilitating almost.
Yes. I mean,
my goodness gracious.
Definitely terrifying to even think that there's nothing you can do about it, really. And it's very difficult to treat that.
That is terrible.
That is horrible.
far worse to me than blue balls, which are really kind of temporary.
Exactly.
Even the blue
That's when you phone a friend.
Yeah. But can't you take care of blue balls yourself or no?
Yes.
pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's more fun to phone a friend.
Masturbation.
Okay, that's true. I just wanted to make sure.
Masturbation.
It's more fun to phone a friend, according to Spyder.
Yes.
And probably every other man.
Of course. Do you know anyone who sleepwalks?
Not really. Well, I heard of someone that used to sleepwalk because they take that stupid Ambien, and they actually fell down. They live in a mansion, fell down their marble staircase, landed at the bottom of the stairs with the head gashing open. I mean, almost died from it.
I know people who sleep and eat. Or they get up and they go eat.
Yeah, and then are
And then
confused
go back
the
to
next
bed.
day.
Yeah. And they don't remember.
Yeah, I had a buddy whose wife stopped him at the door because he was naked and about to go mow the lawn.
In their sleep. How are you not waking up? Anyway.
Well, imagine if you had sex while you were asleep.
Like with random people or with your spouse?
Well, I guess with whoever might be sleeping next to you. So it's basically a new sexual disorder.
Oh, it's new?
What?
What is it called?
Sexsomnia.
Stop it. I can't.
Sexsomnia is exactly what it sounds like. A condition in which a person performs sexual acts while being completely asleep.
What?
Yo.
However,
How is that possible?
well,
It's a real life wet dream.
There have been cases of people on Ambien,
Oh.
and there have been cases of people on Ambien that have sex too, or become aggressive to their partner, making sexual advances, in the middle of the night, and they're like, I'm not in the mood, yeah. And one spouse said it was sexual abuse or something. They were raped because the person is asleep and not realizing what they're doing.
But don't you, if somebody was to hit me and tell me to wake up, I feel like I would wake up.
But a lot of times when you're on the Ambien, you're just really not, even if somebody tries
so
to wake you
freaking
up.
scary.
So what is it called? It's sex.
Ambien.
No,
Sexsomnia.
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 So
I kind of
sexsomnia.
like the way it sounds. I just Sexsomnia.
So that is almost, it sounds like more a substance issue, not like an actual issue.
But that's not necessarily something that happens while people are on Ambien. It's other people say, my husband was asleep and he came on to me. He may have not been on Ambien.
I would also like to know if this happens to any of our listeners.
Anybody else likes to have sex.
Yes, we're calling on all listeners, please.
I mean,
I'm
hit me
the
up
most
for my
terrifying
email.
sexual disorder.
Spyder is very interested. Oh,
I was asleep, I swear.
imagine if two people had that same thing and they're having sex in their sleep and they just don't know it.
With each
And then wake
other?
up.
Yeah.
Or something else?
With each other.
This.
With each other.
the girl goes, my gosh, I'm pregnant again. How did that happen?
We haven't slept together in a month.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess somebody would use that as an excuse for cheating. I have sex zombia.
But why were you with somebody else?
That's a good question. I don't know. When people do something bad, they're like, I blacked out. Everyone always blacks out.
Drove to somebody's house that I don't even know and had sex with them.
Yeah, I was sleeping the whole time. You know that people use that excuse. I was sleepwalking. I sleep drove.
Slipped.
I slipped. My dick slipped into her vagina. And I don't know
it
what
happens.
happened.
It happened.
Wow.
What happens when it sounds, looks, feels like the man has reached his peak, but nothing comes out?
Wait, what is it? What? What is it?
Yes.
What does it sound like? What did you say?
So when it sounds, looks, and feels like a man has reached his peak, but nothing comes out.
What is that?
What is it? It is called retrograde ejaculation.
It's a big name.
We call it blowing dust.
What? Blowing dust? Yes, that's okay. That sounds like it. That's kind of what I thought it was, but it basically, it's a disorder that occurs when semen takes the road less traveled during an orgasm, and instead of forcing its way through the penis, the semen shoots into the bladder.
Oh
my goodness. Is that painful?
Actually, they say no. It's basically, they refer to it, of course, sometimes as shooting blanks. They still have orgasms. It's not necessarily a terrible thing, unless, of course, you're trying to conceive, then that can be a problem. Excuse me. It's usually apparently a side effect of some medication and can be easily treated. So it just goes a different route, you know?
Wow.
But apparently the valve between the urethra and the bladder has to shut off whenever you ejaculate, and apparently it doesn't on this one. So, because you pee and ejaculate through the same
area.
You know,
so do men get frustrated when that happens?
Well, if you're trying to have kids.
Well, I wouldn't at all. That sounds delightful. Less mess.
Less mess. I mean, if I were a girl, I'd be like, heck yeah, honey. Oh, and do the whole wear a diaper with the towel thing, you know?
Yeah.
Just come on. It got to be gross. Eggs.
I get it.
But
now, is it does somebody have this like for a while, or is it just like happens every once in a while?
I think basically there's just a problem with the valve. You know, the shutoff valve. You know, where it switches from one to the other.
Yes.
So it's not painful. It's, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Is that something that happens every once in a while or all the time?
Every once in a while. I don't think it's like something that happens like a lot.
Oh.
Hence one of those terrifyingly, you know, disorders that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah. Well, and they probably don't talk about it either.
Once again, any listeners?
Yeah, who have blown dust before? What'd you say?
What'd you say? Blow dust.
Blow dust?
Or shoot blanks. Yeah. Usually shooting blanks, though, to me refers to not having a vasectomy and not having
swimmers.
And the whole blowing dust thing is something that guys at least talk about amongst ourselves when you have too much sex.
I was going to say, when you have a lot of sex, and by the time you're, you know, have had, you know, 4 or 5 orgasms, there's not much left.
Exactly.
So you blow dust.
Yeah.
Got it.
But this is something different.
I see. I mean, okay.
That's why we have you on. We're always learning.
Let us know if you blow dust. I mean, retrograde ejaculation.
Retrograde ejaculation, which is different than just plain old.
Either one, let us know.
Sure, because we want to know. Inquiring minds.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this Marcella's social media post.
Do you blow dust?
Do you blow dust?
Oh, watch the DMs on that one.
Oh my God.
Has sex ever made you sick?
Sick, like a cold, or sick throw up?
Sick as in flu-like symptoms, feverish, runny nose, extreme fatigue, burning eyes immediately after ejaculating.
I've never even heard of that. Are you allergic to it?
Bingo. You hit the nail on the head.
No way.
It's actually called post-orgasmic illness syndrome.
Oh my God.
It's an extremely rare condition in which guys feel intense flu-like symptoms immediately after ejaculating.
This is guys, okay.
Does this last? Does this last or go away fast?
Well, according to Marcel Waldinger, a Dutch scientist and professor of sexual psychopharmacology, which is here and the other, the ailment stems from a personal allergy to the subject's own sperm.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
You're allergic to your own
There
sperm?
have been cases where, in fact, I just watched one on one of the TV shows recently where a female was allergic to her husband's sperm and was having allergic reactions, especially in the pelvic region, in regards to, and in fact, like she was coding and having seizures.
Whoa, my God.
Coding?
That's like not typically what usually happens, but she was
like an Epipen.
She was having an anaphylactic reaction. Yes.
Good God.
But this is, they basically give the men diluted shots containing their own semen to kind of alleviate or get them used to desensitizing them, kind of like we get allergy shots.
Wow.
That contain a small amount of the allergen that whatever we're allergic to.
I can't have sex with you tonight because I'm allergic to you.
Or, well, for a guy, if he's allergic to his own.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm allergic to sex
wear gloves.
in general.
I'm sorry.
Our listeners, call us, please.
Are you allergic to your own?
If you have POIS, let us know.
Post-orgasmic illness syndrome.
Yep.
And did you say, does it last or it doesn't? Or is it like 10 minutes?
There's no set cure for it. So it's just a treatment.
Wow. Is this very common? Like, what are the statistics of that?
These are like really uncommon.
Very rare.
Very rare. It's almost unknown that's how rare it is.
Have you ever had anyone come into the store when you were there who had that?
I've not had anyone come into the store that was allergic to their own semen that got sick after they ejaculated. But I did have a woman come in who was allergic to her husband's semen.
And what do you do for that? Leave him?
I don't know what we could do other than giving her a condom,
Like, why did you get divorced? I was allergic to
well, we couldn't have kids because I was allergic to my husband's semen.
Like, our body chemistry literally did not go.
We just didn't have any correct chemistry.
I coded every time.
Now, I wonder if she was with somebody else. Like, maybe it was literally just his.
It's quite possible.
Wow. I loved him so much.
Not being compatible.
Wow.
That's really not compatible.
No kidding. We love each other, but we're allergic to each other, literally.
To each other.
Wow.
That's one way of.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you break up nicely.
And gives you an out.
It gives you an out.
I'm just allergic to you.
That is so funny. All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Polly. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.